I'm joined by MaxPreps football editor Zack Poff. Zack, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. As we say here, high school football, yeah, it goes during the fall season, but it's 365 days a year for sure when you include recruiting and 7-on-7 and all that fun stuff, man. So the grind never stops, baby.
100%, dog. So, let's start with the 2020 dudes.
Yeah.
I know the top 247 just dropped yesterday. We're recording this on a Thursday, or on a Wednesday, excuse me. And, well, we got a new number one for
hmm
247 in Bryce Young, and that's a guy that you're very familiar with out in California at Mater Day.
Yeah. Hey, let's be real. First of all, I got a lot of flack because I don't know, it must have been October sometime, but I went out and said that I believe that Bryce Young is a better high school quarterback than Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray was the number one high school quarterback I've ever seen since working at MaxPreps. I've been here for 6 years. What he did in high school, and I know you're familiar with Kyler Murray too, what he did at Oklahoma, when he was there for his 2 years, especially his last year there when he was a starter, won the Heisman. But that's how strong I feel about Bryce Young, man. And you look at the tape and you look what he did against the competition he played, and Mater Day was a top 2 or 3 team the last 2 years, from the start to the finish. And Bryce Young, he does it with his feet, but he does it with his arms. And I strongly believe he's going to be the starting quarterback at Alabama right from the start as a true freshman.
No, man, you're not the only person to say the Kyler Murray comp and or better, but I get it because I can see it across the middle. I can see it on the intermediate passing. I can see it in anticipating guys because what we're doing is projecting the guys forward based on what they've done now. And as
Yeah,
a pure quarterback, you could see it. You could also see that Bryce Young had committed to just playing football for the past 4 or 5
yeah,
years, and
yeah,
Kyler Murray
definitely.
had been playing two sports. And I think that part of it gets lost. Of course, he's going to be a little bit further ahead, if not much farther ahead, because he's just been playing football that much longer. That said, I think Kyler throws the ball better down the field. But then again, Kyler has a baseball arm. I don't know that Bryce Young has a baseball arm.
Yeah, I mean, and even too, you include the speed. Kyler Murray's,
Right.
one of the fastest guys probably in the NFL too. I just think when it comes to tools and being able to play the quarterback position, and you mentioned it, man, Kyler was playing baseball half of the year, when Bryce is playing it 365 days a year and focused on it. You look at all the tools, and Bryce Young really checks them all off. I think he's going to be even, in the Heisman running as a true freshman next year, and that says a lot for what he's going to have at Alabama. But there's some guys that just have that it factor, and Bryce Young has it, and Kyler Murray had it too for sure.
I mean, he was extremely charismatic as well. I mean, Kyler had a quiet confidence of I'm just gonna destroy you. I don't need to really talk about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'm just here to do that. Bryce
And
is
I mean, how crazy is it? The guy was a top 10 pick in Major League Baseball and NFL. I
well,
mean, not many guys can do that. You got Bo Jackson and you got Kyler Murray.
right. I mean, and that also speaks to him as an athlete, right? When we're talking about being a quarterback, and I love Kyler. I've always loved Kyler. I think that Kyler still has a Heisman Trophy, and until Bryce Young gets a Heisman Trophy, then the score is settled. But I understand your opinion, and I understand why you leveled it out there. And I don't think it's far fetched at all. I think if the things come together in the way that they can at Alabama, yeah, I would have had my reservations had he stuck at USC because I just don't think he's got as much of an opportunity to succeed there. Though that was weird to watch play out, man, because I thought after picking USC over Oklahoma, it was done. Even as brought in like another coordinator, and you lost Cliff Kingsbury to Arizona, and then they played piss poor football, and I
Yeah.
was like, he's still sticking. And then finally, Steve Sarkisian and Nick Saban put the full court press on him, and he's going to Alabama. But to hear that dude talk is also to understand what you want your quarterback to sound like. You know what I mean? He's low key, he's level headed, but he's charismatic. He's strong in his confidence. I genuinely enjoy watching the guy play football, and I really enjoy hearing him give an interview as a guy that listens to a lot of high school kids give interviews.
Man, he on top of that, he obviously he's one of the best high school football players I've ever covered since being at Max Preps. But he's just an even better dude. Like he's one of the best kids I've ever met. He's super humble. He doesn't turn down an interview with anybody, and he never talks about himself. He always talks about the team, puts his team first. One of the best things I've seen at a modern day game was at halftime. Bryce Young is the first guy before they get to go to the locker room. and he daps up every single teammate that walks by him. He's a born leader. And I think that's the thing that's going to just put him over the top at Alabama is he's going to outwork everyone. And he's a great dude. He's a great leader. He's got, great abilities, but just the person he is what kind of sets him apart from a lot of other people.
100%. And he had a tremendous group of dudes to help him sharpen up. I mean,
yeah.
Darian Green-Warren ended up transferring away, but that was my favorite cornerback.
I love DG, man. He's a dog, man. I love that kid's game. He's going to be something special at Michigan for sure.
Natural ball hawk, right? Just knows where the ball's going to be. And then Elias Ricks, who's probably the best technical defensive back in this entire crop. I mean,
no doubt.
It's just elite size, dude. Like,
man, can you imagine him and Derek Stingley together? Oh my God.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so here for it, right? Because Stingley's the best true freshman corner I've ever seen, and it was
easy,
right? And it's we're only scratching the surface. No, I'm excited. And then to add to that, Brew McCoy was his wide receiver last year. So
I'm telling you, man. You look at talent-wise, what Mater Dei had the last 2 years.
Jeremiah Cradell, I forgot about him, and he's at Oklahoma.
Jeremiah Cradell, then you had Sean Dollars at running back. They were straight loaded. Big Mike Martinez at tight end, and that offensive line was just straight nasty, led by Miles Morale. Like they were filthy, dude. Yeah,
and Miles is at Washington now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pivot to their nemesis, right? I believe. Correct me because you're the MaxPreps dude. That Mater Dei finished number 1 and St. John Bosco finished number 2.
It was opposite.
Okay.
Bosco ended up finishing number 1 this year because they played twice. Mater Dei got him in the regular season, but then Bosco got him when it mattered most, and that led them to finish number 1. DJ Uiagalelei, man, what a baller.
Dude, 6'4", 250.
Yeah.
And I mean, like 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
All right, so I want you to unpack this dude, but when I watch him play, I see Jameis Winston. I don't see Josh Allen. I mean, I guess you could see a little bit of that, but I see a dude that can throw it from every angle, who was going to find somebody, and who, despite being, as big as Drew Bledsoe at 17, my God, can just move around. And I just was not expecting to see that from him. I expected to see a statue who was just going to be pinpoint accurate.
He's insane. He's a grown man. Even Trevor Lawrence said it, dude. He's like, hey, man, this dude, he's 6'5", 250. I've never seen any high school player ever built like this. He straight up said he's had to work in the Clemson, working out crazy with, eating on the right diet and getting everything for the last 2 years just to get close to what DJ is. And that's all that before he's had, college facilities and everything around him, too. I mean, he was built to play sports for sure. And, he's playing quarterback, and he has all the tools for sure. Like his stock, his ceiling's probably higher than any other player in the class of 2020. Because, I mean, he's your prototypical quarterback. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the arm strength. And if you give him time to throw, he's one of the best playmakers. And this year, what he really developed this year compared to last year, when the pocket was congested as he was a junior, you saw him kind of make mistakes. He learned from that, and this year he worked tremendously on escaping pressure, keeping plays alive, and he didn't panic as much when there was a lot of congestion in the pocket. And that showed when they played Mater Dei and they played De La Salle to win the Section and State Championship. He had 9 touchdowns, no turnovers, threw for almost 1,000 yards in 2 of the biggest games of the year. So he put on in the biggest stage. So
my goodness. Okay, so who do you think his comp is?
I tell you what, man, I see a little mixture of Big Ben and Cam Newton.
Okay.
But that's what I got, because those are just big boys that can make plays. I think he's got the strength that Cam has, and I think he's got his pocket presence that Big Ben has. So I think you mix those two guys, you get DJ Uiagalelei.
Goodness me. All right, so I want to get to the East Coast just real quick because I want to go through that top 3, because really we were talking about 3 dudes that could be number 1 in any other year, but the 2 quarterbacks rank ahead of the defensive tackle, Brian Brzee, 6'4", 290. I mean, I heard Barton Simmons compared to Ndamukong Suh. I didn't see that. I saw more of a J.J. Watt type of dude, but, I mean, what do you see?
I'm with you, man. I see more of the J.J. Watt, because I look at Suh as more just kind of a run stuffer, not really a guy that's going to get – I mean, yeah, he does get pressure on the quarterback, but – you look at a guy like J.J. Watt, he does it all. He's going to bat down passes, he's going to get sacks, he's going to stop the run. And that's what I see Bryce kind of being able to be. I mean, he's the highest rated defensive lineman that Clemson's ever had. He finished number 2, I believe, in the overall poll for 24/7. Spot number 3.
Yeah.
So Bryce and DJ are 1 and 2. But
right.
I tell you what, man, him and DJ, same class. And then you look at the other guys Clemson's got on that D-line. You got DeMonte Capehart, Trey Williams. I mean, they're loaded up in the trenches.
Miles Murphy ends up there too, right?
Man, yeah, they getting guys, and there's still a couple of guys that haven't committed yet that they're in play for. So, and they already got Korey Foreman, the number 1 guy in 2021.
Yeah, unpack him right quick.
Dude, that's insane what they're doing right now with Clemson, LSU, Georgia, and then even Alabama. What those 4 programs are doing at the recruiting level, they're really making it unfair for the other schools that are, trying to eat.
No, I tell people this all the time when you talk about Clemson football, right? The way that you should be talking about Clemson football is as the new money at the table. And yet, when you look at their recruiting classes from 2017, 2018, and then you jump a little bit further ahead, you can see, oh goodness, they are developing classes that aren't nearly as good as the ones that they're getting now. So they're going to be here for a long time. But everybody was worried about Central Florida. No, Clemson. Clemson is the team for which is going to dismantle your favorite blue blood, and what I have this joke where I say, ask the regular college football fan where Clemson is. And they probably give you a blank stare. Be like, it's in South Carolina. Where in South Carolina? Yeah, it's a trick question, isn't it? Because you're not supposed to be able to recruit dudes like that to that place.
Yeah.
And yet, still, there ain't nothing in Clemson except you. And you got, we just went through it. So, in thinking about that, and then Korey Foreman, as you mentioned, he's decided to commit. I think he's the number 1 wide side defensive end in the 2021
class.
He's
actually, I mean, it depends. If you're looking at the composite rankings, Korey Foreman's the number 1 overall recruit in the class. So, I mean, he's a freak, man. I mean, if you want an easy comp, it's Chase Young. I mean, that's what his ceiling is, man. He's got the perfect body frame, athletic. You can't block him. You double team him. It still doesn't matter. He's going to make plays. He's very similar to Chase Young. And we saw what Chase Young did all season long. I mean, he's nasty. And then you put him on with Bryce and Trey Williams and Capehart and Murphy and all those dudes. Like, who you going to double team?
Nobody. Nobody. Actually, my best friend brought this point up to me. He says, Bryce went to Clemson because he knows he's going to get guaranteed man-on-man. He's not going to get double team. And I was like, that's a very good point. That's a great take. Yes, of course you're going to go to Clemson. You know that everybody else is good enough to where they can beat them, so they're not going to double you. Why would you want to not be in that situation, right? Back to the West Coast, right? So we were geeking before taping about Noah Sewell, Justin Flo, Kayvon Thibodeau. Who's your favorite of those 3?
I got to go Justin Flo, man. I've been riding with this dude since his days started at Upland, man. I love the kid, dude. He's a dog. He's out there.
Baby man.
I'm not gonna say trying to hurt people, but he's out there trying to beast on folks.
He's trying to hurt. He's trying to hurt people. He's trying to hurt people.
You seen him? You seen the video earlier this year against the Hobber dude? He straight up picked the dude and WW beat him
Put him
right
on
to the floor.
Oh my god,
he's a dog.
I fell out laughing.
Dude, it's insane. It was so bad we couldn't even post it on MaxPreps because it was just too penalty on it. But I wanted to, but
right. No.
And then you throw in Noah Sewell, oh my god.
How many 6'2", 270-pound inside linebackers are there?
1.
Right. It's
There's
what?
One.
What?
And he's a true freshman, and his brother is even more of a beast. Probably the best offensive lineman in college football.
Oh man.
But I'm telling you, man, Oregon, I'm an SC guy, and I'm going to tune in to watch Oregon because of guys like Justin Flo. We saw what Kayvon Thibodeau did as a true freshman this year. He had 10 sacks, was the freshman defensive player of the year in the Pac-12. He's special, man. He's not even close to – that was just all off talent. Now he's starting to learn technique. What Oregon's doing, what Coach Cristobal is doing for the West Coast for football, he's building a program – that's going to have them contending with the SEC powers and the Clemsons and, the Ohio States, the Oklahomas of the world, where Oregon's going to be a factor in the 14 playoff race here for the next 3 to 4, however long Cristobal's there, because his recruiting's up is just amazing. But he's putting the right people in the right places, too, when it comes to the coaching staff and just the strength and conditioning that they got. They're building something, man. Don't be surprised if they're in the playoffs next year.
No, man, I wouldn't have been surprised this year, quite honestly. I mean, we're talking about an Auburn loss that keeps them out.
Arizona State, they're probably in,
Right. I mean, you take the Arizona State loss back, you take the Auburn loss back where they led for all but like 13 seconds.
Won that game.
Right. And for me, is Tyler Child that good? Like, is he good enough to not screw this up?
The lucky thing is like he don't even got to be great. Like, hey, just go do your Jimmy G and manage the game and let the defense win and let's run the ball.
Right.
Like, let's do that. But he's got the tools, man. I think he's gonna surprise some people for sure. Because I think there were times where Herbert kind of, he's got the thing the scouts like in the NFL where he had all the measurements.
Right.
But sometimes I don't know if he was the guy. I think they're behind Schuff, and I think he's going to have a big-time year next season.
Okay. All right. No, I'm with that because, like, anybody who's been paying attention to what Oregon's been doing over the last 3 years would have told you, they're going to get it right and not only win a Pac-12 championship or compete for the Pac-12 championship. They won that Rose Bowl. Like, Wisconsin fans will say, no, we had penalties. Yeah, that's football. That's what happens. You get over penalties.
Yeah, exactly.
You give them the ball back, they're going to beat you.
It's the same thing with the Ohio State-Clemson game. Yeah, right. It probably was a fumble and Ohio State should got a touchdown, but at the end of the day, you don't win or lose plays on just one single play of the game,
Yeah, man. Tell Chris Olave to keep running.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, so, like, I mentioned Sewell, but I mentioned him, one, because I wonder are they going to let him play inside? Like, are they going to keep their word? Because I know one of the reasons that he ended up there is because he said, I'm a linebacker. Let me play linebacker. But at the next level, that doesn't project, right? They're going to ask you to move down. At the very least, you'll be an outside linebacker. But, if he gets as big as I think he might get, man, they might not have a choice. He's a 5 technique right now.
Yeah. Well, look at the NBA, for example, like Zion Williamson, where we've never seen a guy that's 6'6", 285. But the things he does isn't what your prototypical 285-pounder can do. So I believe they're going to let Sewell have a chance and see what he does. And if he's not performing at what they think inside linebacker, then they'll find a new home for him. But, you just got to get that guy on the field. He's going to make plays no matter where he lines up. Right
on. All right, so I'm going to ask you, who is your favorite non-quarterback in this 2020 class?
Justin Flo's my guy. We just talked about him. So that's it. I love me some Justin Flo, man. Okay. Baby man's a dog, dude. He does it like he played running back this year because they had a couple of guys go down.
Well, he could do
and
that.
all he did is he ran for like 700 yards and over 10 touchdowns this year.
Yeah,
and
he could do that.
Most times that the first guy tried to tackle him, usually didn't end too well for that guy. But Justin Flo, man, he had over 100 tackles, forced like 10 fumbles, over 10 sacks, and he's just a dog. And you'd love to see that in any level of football, but Justin Flo, that's my guy for sure. I'm a big Bijan Robinson fan too.
Okay.
I think Texas has got a straight dog at running back, man. He does it all. He's arguably one of the best players ever to come from the state of Arizona, and they've had some good guys in high school football, but Bijan, he's special, man. And then you got the dude, going to Clemson too, DeMarcus Bowman. He's a baller, and then I got love for my guy Kendall Milton too. So there we go. There's a feel.
So like that, I'm glad you brought all those dudes up because I was going through this and none of those dudes are on my list, right? Even as they're outstanding players, because I think about Keely Ringo at Saguaro.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna be nice.
But like that size to be the kind of eraser that he could be, because I'm thinking about Eric Gilbert, right? And
him too.
Right, 6'5", 250. But watching those dudes battle would be
insane. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year for a reason, man.
Mm-hmm.
He helped. Dude, Marietta hasn't won a state title since the '60s. So he was a big part of that. Harrison Bailey's super nice too. I don't think a lot of people talk about him enough. He's one of the best quarterbacks in this class. But
you think he's a 5-star?
A lot of dudes get the ball too, man. Eric Gilbert, Ricky White, and a bunch of other cats.
You think Harrison Bailey's a 5-star?
Yeah, he put up the numbers, man. He threw for like 4,400 this year, led them to a state title, whooped Eastside Catholic in the Geico game. Okay. And they're loaded too with G. Scott Jr., man. They got some dogs.
All right, I genuflect to the expert. Let's move to 2021. We talked about Korey Foreman a little bit, but Brock Vandegrift, Caleb Williams, those are the two best quarterbacks in this class for you, right?
Yeah, I think you got to mention Sam Heward and Jake Garcia too. But yeah, I got Caleb one, man, in my eyes. I got Caleb.
I like how it comes out of his hand, man. That's it. Like, I know that people look at him as dual threat and say, hey, he can move around, but like when the ball leaves his hand, I believe where it's going, as opposed to not having to load up. It's not a long delivery. I have some reservations about Brock's game as it goes forward, but I think there's things you can get fixed. I also think it's about the fit. and I'm really interested to see what Georgia looks like this year with Todd Monken as the play caller, because if you're just going to have that man handing the ball off to running backs, then what's he doing there? Whereas with Caleb Williams I think we're down to like LSU and Oklahoma at this point. But why would
he make sense for Oklahoma, doesn't he?
You would think so, but Brock Vandagriff made sense for Oklahoma, so I can't call it, man.
The reason why I give Caleb a little nod over Brock, and I love Brock's game, and he showed this year how tough he is, man. He played most of the season with a broken fibula, dude, which is absolutely insane. But Caleb's played against the best teams in high school football, and he's put on. I mean, he led Gonzaga to the WCAC championship during his sophomore year, and he had Gonzaga ranked in the top 25 mostly throughout his junior season too. I mean, the WCAC is a top 2, top 3 conference in high school football. And then on top of that, Gonzaga's playing some of the best national teams. They played Don Bosco Prep this year. Mm-hmm. They played American Heritage from South Florida. So Caleb Williams is playing against the best competition, and he's putting up these type of numbers. Where you look at Brock Vandagriff, they're playing in a lower classification in the state of Georgia, where he's not playing the same level of competition. So I've seen Caleb Williams do this against the best talent and the best teams. I think he's going to be absolute stud at the next level. Also, too, I got to give my shout out 2021 Ohio State commit Kyle McCord from Philadelphia at St. Joe's Prep. Man, he's a baller too, for sure.
You mentioned evaluating kiddos going against the best in the country versus not necessarily having that opportunity. And I always tell people, when you're talking about being better than another player, 5-star versus 4 stars, you have to take that into account. So I'm glad you brought that point up. Who are we overlooking in the 2021 class?
Man, that's a tough one, dude.
Okay.
But I think a dude who's been putting on, and I know he's getting shine, but I don't think a lot of people are talking about him, but it's Will Shipley out in North Carolina. And I think a lot of reason why he might not be getting talked about a lot is because he's played in North Carolina. He's not in, one of the big states, California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and those times. But he's a guy to pay attention to. He's the rated number 1 all-purpose back. He was the North Carolina Gatorade Football Player of the Year. He led his team to another state title this year. He does it all, man. He's a great receiver. He's a great running back. He's great on special teams. He's a dude. Like, he's nice, dude. He's going to be a guy we're talking about for sure down the road. And we want to talk about a guy in the trenches real quick. That's Landon Tengwall from Good Counsel. He's a man. Like, what he's doing right now during his junior season, he was a major reason why Good Counsel won their first WCAC title since 2012. And a lot of that had to do because they were winning those grown man challenges in the trenches. And you can make a case Landon Tengwall was as good as any offensive lineman, regardless of class, during his junior season.
Damn. Zach, when do you sleep, dog? Because
I don't, man. Okay. I don't sleep, man.
Okay.
I'll hibernate for a couple months, during the summer, but that's about it.
Because
so we good.
No, I'm thinking about what I know, how hard it is to go and track down high school kids, and how hard it is just to go to games, right, and be at games and be present. How much of your time do you think you spend just trying to figure out where you should go and who you should be watching?
It's tough, dude, because you kind of want to make those decisions before the season starts, but sometimes it comes in where a number 1's playing number 2, or you got a top 5 matchup, so you just got to go. Like this year, it was pretty easy to figure out, all right, cool, Mater Dei's playing St. Francis Academy. Both teams got over 20 future D1 players. We're going to get to that one.
Right.
Mater Dei, St. John Bosco. It's nice, too. I went to the Texas State Championships a couple of years ago, too. I would recommend that for anybody, even if you're not like a huge high school football fan. They got over 40,000 people that go to some of those games. And we're talking high school. I mean, that's more than some college teams have guys or people going to attend. So you got to get out to a Texas high school football game for sure. But it's a lot of time, man. You got to pick them right because you want to go to the best of the best for sure.
100%. I wanted to leave with this. You guys had a really interesting – I love when you do maps at MaxPreps. I really do. So you had this map of all the players in the NFL in 2019 and which states they came from.
Yeah.
Which one were you most like, wait a second, all those dudes are from there?
I'm telling you, man, people sleep on the DMV area, dude.
Okay.
Like we're going to talk about, Maryland, the Washington, D.C. area. I don't think people talk about the DMV enough because I put them kind of in the same categories as the California, the Texas, and the Georgias, and Ohio. Like they're right there, man. And I think in the next couple of years, they're going to start to get that respect. But the DMV area for sure. And another kind of under the radar spot is I'm big on Arizona, man. I think Arizona's got some of the best talent along with Washington. Those are kind of two states on the West Coast that I think a lot of people kind of sleep on a little bit. Hey, I tell you what, we got another one coming out where where every player was ranked from both Super Bowl rosters. 28 of the 106 didn't have any stars or no player ratings coming out, and now they're going to be playing in the biggest game of the year for sure. So that just shows you sometimes that player rankings doesn't really define who you are, and that just shows you that, if you continue to just work hard, things will go your direction.
No, man, that's great, dude. Is there anything I didn't bring up that you want to talk about?
Man, we hit it all, dude. We talked about some 2020 guys, 2021, and I guess next time we'll have to talk about 2022. Raleek Brown, get to know the name. He's a saucy running back, just transferred to modern day.
Oh, yeah, he was at camp last year,
nice.
At OU, and he stole it, dog.
He's nice.
He was out there at wideout.
Modern day.
He's
going to be nice, man. And then you got Arch Manning in 2023, the nephew of Peyton and nephew of Eli, son of Cooper, grandson of Arch. He's a baller, man. He's our freshman of the year. So we'll maybe have to hit on those guys next time for sure.
Bump that. I want to talk about Arch. Bump that. Thank you, because I said I want to talk about Arch, and that's on me.
Yeah.
So I thought his recruiting so far has been fascinating to me, because he doesn't really they don't let him talk to the media, which I think is
they don't like media too much.
Right, and yet he hasn't reported any offers, which is the way that we usually know that a kid has an offer. But I know that Ed Orgeron was Isidore Newman last month. So, or I should say this month, January.
I have no clue what's going on. I don't know if they offered him, but let's be real. Every big time D1 program is going to be offering that dude. All right. He threw for 2,400 this year, had just about 30 touchdowns. He didn't win freshman of the year because of his last name. He earned freshman of the year because of the play. I mean, you can make a strong case he's the number one player in the class of 2023.
Well, I mean, and then I said this. I was like, him winning freshman of the year might be the most outstanding thing he has done and will do in high school, because you look at the list of dudes that have been awarded MaxPreps freshman of the year. I mean, Trevor Lawrence on that list, Nick Bosa on that list.
I believe Deshaun Watson might have been. There was a lot of ballers on that list, dude. Guys that are going to be drafted in the NFL, guys that are some of the best college players. And Arch Manning, he's going to have a chance to win that award for sophomore of the year, junior of the year, and then as a senior. So we'll see how it goes.
Man, there's a part of me that wish he wasn't playing 2A football in Louisiana, but I understand we can't be beggars can't be
just let him transfer. He can go to IMG before his junior season, all right?
Ooh, look at you.
I'm joking. He's gonna stay. We both know he's staying at Newman all 4 years, dude.
Yeah, I know, because that's what they do in the Manning camp, and he'll end up at Ole Miss playing for Kiffin.
You don't think he might just go to Tennessee like Uncle Peyton?
Ooh, look at you trying to sew in there, because Cooper went to Ole Miss.
Bruh, he gonna be eating ham sandwiches at LSU with Coach O. Let's be real.
Yo, man, depends entirely on whether or not he's got somebody in 2022 to compete with, I think. But man, Zach, money. Yeah. This has been money.
Anytime, baby. Anytime you want, man. You got my number, all right?
Dude, at Zack _Poff_MP. That's the man. Follow him on the Twitters. Pay attention to his work. Dude, I appreciate you.
Anytime, my man. Anytime, dude.